and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. This is our Up the Villa podcast episode, something new that we brought in pre-season. Didn't do one last week, but we're back this week where we're going to discuss vast amount of things. The last one that we did, we spoke about City, Champions League, FA Cup, Saudi Arabia. Didn't really talk too much about Villa, but on this one, we're going to talk quite a bit about Villa. And you can see that me and Justin are sporting the new shirt. Actually, really like it. We'll get into the kit in a second, but we're going to talk about Badgegate. And it's something that has obviously stirred conversation within the fan base. We know Villa fans like something to talk about. So this is something to talk about. So let's just go back a little bit and let's think about why there was a need to change the badge in the first place. I think that's quite important because it was a real sense of wanting to form a Villa identity. And I felt like the hierarchy in and around Villa and probably the fan base, when you actually sit down and think about it, couldn't really connect with the badge. It was too blue. It was yellow. It had AVFC on it. And it didn't really show what we were all about as a club. It didn't have our name on it. It traditionally wasn't round, where we won the European Cup when the badge was round. So nostalgic value. A lot of Villa fans go back to that and really like it. And they go back to it because it's the biggest thing that we've ever achieved, winning the European Cup. So it should be cherished and it should be looked at for fans. And the whole Villa brand as well needs to massively improve. It needs to have an identity where if we go away to Australia, America, or any other country, fans look at that badge with one look at it and think, that's Aston Villa, that is. They're a massive club. And they know the story, they know the history, but it feels like that's what we wanted. We wanted this new identity, and we then had a process of a fan consultation. We had questionnaires. Which one do you prefer? We narrowed it down to 2. And then this badge is the one that we ended up going with. And season ticket holders, 30,000 fans voted unanimously for this badge. So we were all under the impression that this badge was going to be branded around, plastered around, and then that's what we was going to get moving forward. And then it came out today with the kit launch that this badge is now sort of focused on the kit and on the training wear, and the club as a whole, the branding of the club is going to remain exactly the same as before. And, you know, the way you look into it is Christian Perslow's gone, the driving force of a lot of things behind the scenes at Aston Villa. Chris Hecker's come in, and it feels like there's been a, wait a minute. Let's just wait a minute. Let's just calm. Let's just relax. Let's have a rethink. And I think that's quite brave of him to do, because I think to make that big decision shows a lot of character. And I think at the top, we need decision makers that are bold and brave to make those critical and crucial decisions. So I, commend him for making that decision. But, on the other hand, it just feels a little bit, it's like we're going into a new era now, aren't we? With Monchi, with Unai Emery, with Chris Heck, with the owners now being more at the forefront of it. And I don't know, does it just feel a little bit like the decisions are just quickly changed too quickly? Do you get what I'm trying to say, Justin? That we go down this route with this plan, and then, oh no, hold on, shit, no. We're going in this direction now. Like, I'd prefer it if it was just more of like, this is what we're doing, and that is it. Because it wasn't just Perslow's decision probably to change this badge. He probably had the go ahead from the owners as well. So it just feels all a little bit weird. And I love sort of like brands. I love looking at the way brands are, the way brands evolve. Like, I love the look of our brand, Up the Villa podcast. And now when I look at Villa and I see that club badge and then this badge, and it's a bit chaotic, it's a bit messy. It's just, I don't know. And I know we're probably going to sack off this badge next season anyway, but what are your thoughts on it? Because to me, it just feels a bit bitty.
It's really strange. We went to Villa today to look at the kits and to pick them up, and to that's all we thought we were going for today. And then that sort of really threw a curveball in, didn't it? When it sort of combined with the kit launch tweet and things coming out of the club, we had this statement which tells you something without telling you anything, if you know what I mean. It's sort of leading you towards the way that it's going to go without actually committing to going that way, if you know what I mean. And I think it's all this is just our opinions. I've certainly got no inside information at Villa, but it all seems to lean in towards Christian Perslow and what he was doing in the last maybe 12 months of his tenure at Villa. And it something obviously went wrong there for them to have a parting of the ways behind the scenes. The Gerrard thing, I don't think helped. The length of time he held on to him, the way that Nassif Suarez stepped in and hired Unai Emery, a lot of things at the club, in my opinion, on the day-to-day basis, just haven't been running very well. The ticket office is a nightmare. A lot of them are still working from home. I think that needs sorting. And the kits generally are a bit of a nightmare every season, although this one has actually dropped earlier. And then we had this whole push towards a new branding, a new era of the badge, and all the Villa fans bought into it. We went along with it, like you say, went through a whole process. We got to the end. That was the badge. That's great. Let's move on. And now we've had this statement coming out saying where they're not going to do anything rebranding in the stadium. They're going to look at it. They're going to look at local, supporter-led, national, and worldwide information that they're going to get in over the next 12 months, and they're going to make a decision. That tells me that the owners, in my opinion, weren't happy with the way Christian Perslow went about doing certain things at the club, and they have moved quickly to fill hierarchy positions at Villa with the likes of Chris Heck and Monchi's come in. And I think by the look of it, they've come in, they've looked at everything as a whole, and they've decided to put the handbrakes firmly on with this badge. They couldn't do anything about it.
His internet's gone, I think, a little
bit. And all that.
Oh no, it's back.
Before it goes too far, they are obviously making a decision to have a think about it, properly have a think about it. It does seem a bit odd, but it's better saying it now than at the end of the season or in 2 seasons or 3 seasons' time.
Yeah,
I think.
I do. I get what you're saying, and I said I commend Heck at the start for making that bullshit decision to do this, which is fine. And I'm probably going to slightly contradict myself, but I'm probably looking at it now at a different angle. Is that you kind of and what it feels to me? This is what it now feels like to me. Is that, and I would never say anything bad about these owners really, but I think they're kind of learning a little bit on the job of running a big football club, if that makes sense, in the sense of they've had Dino, they've had Gerrard, they've had Perslow, like big figures, big figures in and around the club, but they've realised that they've gave sort of the sense of that they gave somebody a role at the club to do while they sort of maybe potentially sit in the background a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think what they've realised is, no, we've got to be at the forefront of this. We've got to be more involved. So now they've brought Chris Heck in, who's head of business. They've brought in Monchi, who's head of sort of like, sporting director, etc.
Yeah.
There is now a complete overhaul in the way we operate. How we operate now is completely different to how we operated 12 months ago. So the shift of how we think as a club now and how the owners think is now completely different to what they were thinking 12 months ago. 12 months ago, they were thinking about getting a new badge. And now I think they're probably thinking about something elsewhere. And they may want to change the badge. They may want to, have a complete rebrand. But, I just think, at what stage did they start regretting this badge sort of thing? Do you know what I mean? Because,
I think it almost seems like it was a vanity project for Purslow. That it was something that he decided we should do. Let's change the badge, and he's the one that drove it forward. But my opinion of Christian Purslow always was he's a politician. He was a front man. I don't think he's a mass. Although he's been in and around football for a long time, I don't think he really massively gets the playing side and some of these. So he was doing a job that he was sort of trying to do everything at Villa as the chief executive. He was trying to run the football side. He was trying to run the commercial side. He was trying to run the club day-to-day running, and I think it was too much for him. And I think all these decisions have come to a head now, where the owners have took a step back and they've said, we want specialists in each of these positions. Now they've gone out and bought Chris Hecking, who is a professional in the in branding, in the consumer side, commercial side of things, and they've said to him, "This is your role now. We want you to blow us up in the world, not in England, not in Birmingham. This needs to be a worldwide brand." And that he is a specialist in that job. That is his total remit at Villa. He's getting us, like you say, world renowned. Now, we are world renowned. We are a big football club in the world, in my opinion. We might not be on the lips of every single fan in the world, but that's where we want to get to. One of the most important parts of that is the visual nature of, like you say, when you arrive somewhere, when you show someone something, that's Villa. If you show them the Juventus rebranding, that's Juventus straight away. Man United, Real Madrid, the Barcelonas, you just know straight away. So we need to get there. Yes, we've got to build the on-field stuff up and become successful on the field, but that goes in hand with commercial side. And I think he's looked at what Purslow had done, and the badge is a huge part of that. And he's just gone, right, we need a rethink here. So they've put a sort of wishy-washy statement out that's leaning everybody towards the fact this is a one-season badge.
Yeah, because
Don't know what
now,
they're going to do.
what's quite funny about that little thing they put out? It's like, this badge was meant to be our new badge, and now it's a commemorative badge for like the 82 / going into like 150 years of existence. So,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a difference. And the other thing that I'd like to say about this, you mentioned a bit about Purslow, is that about him doing it his way. He even put the lion face in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Mate, like, if you'd have got this badge, that badge, and the other badge, the other lamp thing, and said, right, you can have the lion facing this way, or the lion facing this way, or this lamp badge, what would everyone have picked in the first place? The lion facing the normal
Yeah.
way.
Well,
Do you know what I
the
mean?
original lion, yeah.
It just
It's a
feels
difficult,
weird, man.
yeah. No, it's a really difficult one. I mean, ultimately, if you said to the Villa fans, whatever kit you wear, you're going to win the league or win the FA Cup next season, you wouldn't give a monkeys what they wear, would you? I wouldn't care what kit there was if we won the league. We want a successful team. That's all that matters. And sponsorships and colours of kits and away kits and styles and all these things really pile into the background with the actual job of putting a successful team on the pitch and winning games and winning trophies. But these kind of things matter to us fans that are
Yeah.
invested in the club,
Yeah.
and they matter to the owners, and they matter to the branding. They matter to us going forward. So it's got to be right. They've got to get it right. That when we did this, we said this is once it'll be done and that's it. We're not going to do it again. It looks like we are going to do it again. So I just think I'm glad they've said it now, and
Yeah,
we've
me
got the
too.
whole season to get used to it now, that this badge might not be hanging around. They haven't said it won't be. They've just said we're going to look at it again. I mean, it might be that it goes down a storm and we stick with it. Who knows? Things will become much clearer. The fog will lift over the next 9-10 months. So this time next year, we should have an answer, hopefully.
Yeah, and my finishing view on it is, fair play to him for or them to say, let's just wait, let's just not plaster it around everywhere, let's not waste all our money sticking it on the stadium. I get that, but I'm just a bit like the whole process has just been like a weird circle just to come back to the
It's
starting
yeah.
point and being like, nah, we're just gonna have it for a year.
I think honesty is the best policy. I really do in everything in life. If this was a decision, then just come out and tell us and say, okay, this is what's going to happen. At least we know now, one way or the other.
Yeah. So while it's here, while the badge is still here, I really like the kit. I mean, we'll forget about this part of it, but this part of it, you can see the color on my camera that it's a good color claret. You know the
It
the
is,
the.
yeah,
the the flecks that you got going on that are meant to be like the ripples of the fans singing LA, LA, LA. It fits nice. I'd say go for the size that you normally go with. It's a nice shirt, like not that part either, but this blue, I quite like this blue. I like the little collar on it. I like it.
yeah. The piping. I've had it now for a couple of hours, and the piping on the shoulders is nice. The material is very different to last year's. I noticed last year's was um, it was quite a sort of matte finish, where this is
Yeah,
more, if you like, a
yeah.
gloss
It's
type of
got it's got
finish.
a shine on it, and I
Yes,
always think that the claret pops more on that texture.
yeah,
I think remember that first season we got promoted and we had that big W, and the kit was really like
yeah.
dull. Like that was a terrible color claret. That was.
Yeah, they've got it wrong quite a lot of times, but I think this is a decent enough kit. I mean, I'm a massive kit geek, I suppose. I've got every single kit back to about 1970 something, home, away, third, and I was always going to get it, whatever. But I still would like something a bit out there as a home kit. Um, the claret body and the blue arms, we've done it to death now. I know it's the standard, and a lot of people love it. I like the old, when we had the tie collars. I like the stripes of the FA Cup kit. I love the Hummel one from years ago. That was nice, different. I just think we could do something a little bit more braver. Whether Castori are just trying to get favour with the fans and sticking with standard, and I think with the modern way of things, having three kits, they obviously can go a little bit mad on the sort of away, and then really mad on the third kit. They can really go to town on that. So I suppose that's their way of throwing curveballs in and different kits. But it's a nice kit. It's a safe kit. I think a lot of fans that haven't seen it in the flesh yet, that not sure, will like it once they get it in their hands. I think it looks nice on. It's okay. It's okay. They've done a decent enough job.
There is a new kit coming out. The Up the Villa podcast kit. We got to have a little cheeky mention to that. Our sponsors Against the Odds are designing us a football kit with the sponsors of Against the Odds, and it's going to be manufactured by Luke Roper. So that's a little cheeky that we're going to be sporting our own kit. So absolutely loving. Can't wait to get my hands on that. Shout out to Against the Odds as well. So me and you, Justin, we both attended a day at the Ashes. My daughter, she's 5, just turned 5, and I put her on the trumpet of Barmy Army, The Great
Yeah,
Escape.
yeah.
She absolutely loves it. So we've had that blaring the last couple of days, but you know we did a preview on my personal channel and we spoke about how excited we were, and what a test match. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Absolutely incredible. Everything that cricket can be, to be honest. And fair play to both teams. Ben Stokes set his stall out and to play a certain way, and he has done for the last 12 months, and he will play that way. No matter what anybody says to him, he is going out to win every game. Play positively, back quickly, pile the runs on, positive field settings, go for wickets all the time. And fair play to the Aussies. They came and they played their way. They sat back. They soaked up pressure. They built slowly. They built innings. They bowled fantastically well. And to get down to the fifth day, right at the end, both teams could have won it in the last hour. We should have probably won it, if I'm brutally honest.
I think
But
so.
Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon. I'm not a massive fan of Nathan Lyon, but Pat Cummins captain's innings, came in with probably very little chance of winning that game when he came to the crease, and he played an absolutely sensational knock. Quite ironic, really, when you think that they came over and said that they're not bothered about baseball, and they ended up winning it by playing baseball cricket. Any other year they just shut up shop and they try and see the day out for the draw, but he had a different idea, Pat Cummins, and you've just got to hold your hands up sometime. But absolutely loved every minute of it. Had me engrossed every minute of every session of every day. That's, if you're not a cricket fan, just watch it because it's absolutely brilliant, brilliant.
I mean, I've watched cricket, on and I'd say I'm an on and off cricket
Yeah.
fan. I dip in and out of it. If for some reason I get engrossed in it, I'm invested. I check the scores all the time, and I just made a pact that I really wanted to enjoy the Ashes this year. And I watched the first test. I did it on my other channel, um, and then day four, sat at home thinking, I can't wait to watch this tomorrow. And I thought, you know what? I'm going. I'm having a look for a ticket. So I made the special, to go and watch it. And that's from someone that I'm not an avid fan like you are, but he got me wanting to go to the cricket. So, and even though we lost, it was still gripping, fantastic. When we were taking the wickets just after tea, and it was really, really good. So I really, really enjoyed it. You know more about it than me, but there are a couple of little things that I think we could do better. Um, you know, you can react to my comments then and counteract what I'm saying then. So I kind of felt like during the second innings for England, we we needed to just slow it down a little bit. I think I just felt the batting wise. I felt like Moeen Ali threw his wicket a little bit. He was just hitting everything, weren't he? I just felt just chill out a little bit, like tick over a bit. But I think for us to go forward, because Australia is so all round solid, there's going to be moments where I think we've got to be a bit savvier. I think. So what do you make of that?
It's not going to happen. It's just
No.
not going to happen. That's gone now for this current Test team and under this management and this captain. They're going to go out and try and score runs. I mean, this is another great part about cricket. You can learn as little or as much as you want about it. You can go into as much detail as you want to, or simplify it to enjoy it. But at that point, we had to try and pile runs on as quickly as possible to get as much ahead as we possibly could to give ourselves the best possible chance and long enough to try and bowl them out. It was a wearing pitch. Their bowl, they've got, we struggled because we didn't have a proper frontline spinner because Moeen Ali did his finger in. They've got one of the best in the world in Nathan Lyon. They've got a fantastic bowling attack. One of our biggest problems was we put out a team with probably at least three players that weren't fully fit.
Mm.
Jimmy Anderson was fit but not match fit. Hopefully he'll be much better next week once he's had a bowl. He hadn't bowled for a long time. He'd had a little niggle, but I think his fitness is okay. I just think he wasn't up to speed on a match. Moeen Ali, huge blow to lose Jack Leach just before the test because he would have been fantastic in that game. Mo hasn't played Test cricket for a while, and he answered the call to come in SOS, and then within the first few hours, his finger had gone, and then he had to battle through the pain. I was lucky enough to get there early on day 4 and I had a quick chat with him, and I said, "How's your finger, Mo?" And he said, "It's okay, but it's very sore." And for him to even admit that, I think shows that he was going through the pain barrier. And the big one is Ben Stokes himself. He's not fit. His knees, in my opinion, his knee's buggered. And the minute this Ashes is over, he'll be having an operation on it. He can't bowl properly. He would be bowling 10 to 15 overs a day, guaranteed. He took the ball late on and he got a wicket. That's what he does. He's a big moment player. We're going to get 5 or 6 overs out of him in innings now. So what we have to do next week is make sure that we put a fully as best fit. So you're thinking about it, we had 9 fit players, 8.5 fit players, let's say, and we took the world champions and one of the best teams in the world all the way. So if we can sort out a few of the little niggles, we're going to be better for that run out. Jimmy's going to be better. We're going to get some pace in the attack next week. We're going to carry on playing the way we're going. And there might be a chance one of these test matches is that we get blown away in one of them because we're just going to go after them. That's going to happen at some point. But I'm all for it. Roll on, Lords, next week. I cannot wait.
Yes, so cricket was fantastic. And then we'll finish off on another talking point. We started the series off on this sort of journey of whatever this episode's all about, general chat vibe. Um, Chelsea, PIF, Clear Lake Capital, selling players to Saudi Arabia when they've got cash coming in from Saudi Arabia, clearing off, offsetting transfers, the duds that they don't want. Now, to me, it's just so weird. I could kind of imagine like one Chelsea player going to Saudi Arabia. Like you'd think, okay, oh, just one, whatever. Kante, Ziyech, Koulibaly, Mendy, Hudson-Odoi, Aubameyang,
And possibly
all
Lukaku.
all potentially off to Saudi Arabia. Now, if you tell me there's nothing dodgy going on there, then it's not a coincidence that all of those players are off to that country to play football. We're now hearing that Neves has gone to Saudi, which to me is a bit of an eye opener because it's one thing losing the older players, the
Yeah,
players that have won everything. I mean, Benzema, what's he got to win?
nothing.
Ballon
Yeah,
d'Or, he's won it. Champions League, he's won it. La Liga, he's won it. Nothing to win. Ronaldo, exactly the same. But then when you've got players of 26 years of age going to that league,
but Bernardo Silva as well. Apparently,
imagine he goes.
28, peak of his
Imagine
career.
Bernardo Silva goes to Saudi Arabia.
It absolutely stinks, mate. When it first started,
But then,
go on.
Neves
Yeah,
potentially back to Newcastle
on
on
loan.
loan. Oh, come on.
It stinks. It is disgusting. I mean, when it first started breaking and the Saudi league looked like they were going to start throwing money at it, like America did it years and years ago. We've seen it in other countries, haven't we? They try and throw money at it, and it doesn't work because it needs more than that. But these seem to be on another level, and when you start reading between the lines, I think there's four. I mean, I might be wrong with this, but I think there's four Saudi state teams that are state owned and run, which can't be right. That's four teams within one league that are owned by the state, and within that state, the PIF, the investment fund, own a bit of Newcastle, and there's lots of links now with this Clear Lake Capital to Chelsea, and where the money is behind Todd Bowley and Chelsea. So you haven't got to be Inspector Clouseau, have you, to work out where these, what's happening here. Chelsea have overloaded with players. They're a bloated squad. All these players on ridiculous wages at Chelsea. They're in trouble with FFP, aren't they? So all of a sudden, everything gets blown out the way when they're selling 5 or 6 of their big earners for more money than they are, in my opinion, worth. It's just dodgy as hell. And, like I say, when it first started breaking, I was like, okay, they're trying to throw money at it. They're trying to, build a league. And I don't really blame the players because if somebody offers you 3, 4, 5, yes, there's the side of it that people have got morals, and the moral side of it. I get that. I get that argument totally. And if the players morally can turn it down because they don't agree with the Saudi government and what they do over there, which is pretty horrific, the human rights is horrific, get all that. But it just stinks. The sports washing, I've looked into that a lot, which, there's sort of things going around that the oil's going to be drying up there, so they need to start, creating wealth in another way. So they're doing this while they can do that. But to try and gloss over that country's, say, human rights issues and everything else that they do by just creating a super league, if you like, it needs stopping. I'm glad that Gary Neville, I'm glad that Jamie Carragher have come out and have been vocal. I think more pundits need to do it. I think the government need to get involved. I think this needs to go up to a high level. UEFA, FIFA, they've all got to get involved. But the biggest problem is they've all got the hand in the till, haven't they? So
Oh yeah, because look what apparently Saudi Arabia want at the back end of sort of 2029, 2030. Want the World Cup, don't they?
yeah, and
So
I'll get it
we
because they've
know
got the money, haven't they?
we know how that goes because you can buy that, can't you?
You could buy the World Cup, yeah. We've shown that already. No, it's very very worrying. You know, I say other leagues have tried it in the past. Teams have done it in the past. Chelsea did it when they first come in, when you just buy everything. And but for a league to come in, and like you say, to not only buy past it players that are 30 and above that are going there for a final payday, like the MLS was a few years ago. It's, you know, players like the likes of Neves and Bernardo Silva. That is, you know, even like
Mm.
Wilfried Zaha, he's only just gone 30. Still could have made it. You know, one of the bigger sides in England could have took him from Chelsea, from Palace, and he could have had a go at winning things there. But he chose to go there. You know, it's very, very worrying, and I
Yeah.
really, really hope something is done about it very quickly. I don't know what can be done, but something needs to be done before it gets too
Yeah,
out of hand.
I worry about it, to be fair. But I think there's one thing that could potentially have an impact on it. And we know that they had their first meeting on it about 2 weeks ago. It was the salary cap, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So I think that could potentially help in a sense of, if you're saying Kula Barley's leaving Chelsea and etc., like what is he worth, etc. It all has to sort of fit in line how much he gets paid, etc. So I think that is something good to keep an eye on anyway. But I
is that a
also think
salary cap in Saudi?
no, in here I think.
Oh, here, right.
But would that not have an impact on elsewhere?
Well, it might push players to move, mightn't it? If you can only pay players, I think the salary cap in America works so that you've got an amount for the whole squad.
Mhm.
I think one player is allowed outside of that, so a bit like Inter Miami have just signed Messi, so he would be allowed outside of that. Excuse me, cap, but the rest would have to sit within it. So if that was brought in here, you would worry that players wouldn't get the money here that they might get other places. They might
Yeah.
actually disappear.
Yeah, and it's a good thing, I think, as well, if we're thinking about Chris Heck as well, who's coming from a background working in America, who predominantly work with salary caps. So if that is implemented into the Premier League, then I think we've got someone who is going to be key to understanding and helping us
Yeah,
work alongside that. So shout out to that as well. And so 32, 33 minutes, spoke about quite a lot. I think it's been quite interesting, to be fair.
it has. Yeah, a
Um,
lot
if,
to talk about.
yeah, if you've got anything out of it, subscribe to the channel, drop it a like, share your thoughts on all of the different topics we've spoke about. And we'll be back, I guess, for some transfer stuff as well. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.